Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now October 6th of 2020, and ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, you name it, and exactly what they're all able to offer in the next couple of years in comparison to what I like to call the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that yes, we do know that as of right now, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are really trying to get out of this phase of desperation and damage control to really get the ball rolling again when it comes to Star Wars. Essentially, what they really are trying to do is that they're trying to really bring Star Wars to the same exact level as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, also known simply as the MCU. You know, they already have Kevin Feige on board of this new Star Wars universe to really handle the backbone of the new Star Wars films and more. However, when it all comes down to their overall plan, what they really want to do is that they really want to recapture the Star Wars fans that left the sequel trilogy. The fans that really made up their minds with the rise of Skywalker and left the franchise for good at that point in time. Those are the exact type of Star Wars fans that Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to get back and are really trying to impress now with their new Star Wars universe. So with that being said, of course, obviously, you know, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are very much on edge about what the new projects are really going to look like for the fans and how the feedback is going to be from Star Wars fans overall. Their first, big debut is going to be The Mandalorian Season 2. That's going to actually be released on October 30th of this month. So we're getting closer and closer to when The Mandalorian Season 2 will release. Now, beyond all of this, now that the Skywalker saga is over, both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently focused on their new Star Wars universe, as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films in order to give the fans a brand new mythology of the Star Wars franchise. It's explained that currently both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are developing many ways to reunite the Star Wars fans around the world in order to create a better future for the franchise. However, it's noted that as of right now, creator George Lucas is said to be involved with the new Star Wars trilogy as a co-writer for all three of the new Star Wars films of this new trilogy that are set to be released in the near future. It's explained that George Lucas is described to be already in the pre-production process of the first film of the new Star Wars trilogy that will give fans a far darker version of the Star Wars brand. So once again, they are aiming to make these new films very much darker in comparison to the sequel trilogy movies. If you guys actually, go ahead and take a look at Revenge of the Sith and The Empire Strikes Back, they both have those very dark tones. However, this new trilogy is going to take advantage of a far darker tone. What they really want to do is that they want to model it after Lord of the Rings. They want to give it that dark and grim feel. Kind of similar to what we saw also, in other movies out there like The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. They really want to give it a very dark tone. Now, that is one thing about the new films that I think are really going to be quite, unique in material, is the fact that they are going to not only be inserting a lot of Star Wars legends, but that they will be basing them off of traditional Star Wars franchises out there. They really want to make these new Star Wars films based on the Star Wars franchise that we got with the Star Wars Legends content. However, it's noted that George Lucas is said to be heavily involved with many of the character designs in the new Star Wars movies, as well as the new Star Wars worlds that will be introduced in the new trilogy. George Lucas is said to also be the one who will be choosing the main writers and directors for the new Star Wars trilogy of movies that will expand the new Star Wars universe into something very important to the lore of the franchise that fans have never witnessed before in the Star Wars universe. George Lucas is said to also be in control of how Star Wars Legends material will make its way into the new Star Wars trilogy that will give the fandom a brand new take on Star Wars that they have never seen before in the Star Wars movies that come before these new ones. George Lucas is said to be also allowing Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to get involved on the new Star Wars trilogy in some way, shape, or form to handle the stories of the new films and how they will interconnect with the new Star Wars TV shows and Star Wars books and novels to be released in the near future. So once again, this is a great decision by George Lucas to allow to allow Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to really at least have some form of control over these new Star Wars projects, right? At the end of the day, Dave Filoni is the man who really created animated material for Star Wars. He's the first person to experiment with TV shows in animated form. Then you have Jon Favreau, the first creator of a live-action Star Wars TV series that really actually was very successful so far, and I think that Season 2 is really going to kick things off. Season 1 was just the beginning, and Season 2 is now really going to be the big show. So, for Lucas to be involved as a co-writer of these 3 new Star Wars movies and really getting involved on such a great level like that and allowing Favreau and Filoni to jump in, you can only imagine exactly what things are going to look like moving forward. Moving on. Now, thankfully, Kathleen Kennedy is actually said to have no involvement in the new trilogy, and that George Lucas will be working closely with Marvel's Kevin Feige of the Marvel Universe, who will be handling the backbone of the new Star Wars trilogy of movies. Lucas is going to also be using many of his original ideas from the prequel trilogy films in order to create an expansive Star Wars universe for the fans to experience on the big screen, and will be using next-generation technology when it comes to CGI use in the new films. Lucas is going to also be using new techniques of using practical effects on the big screen in order to give the fans a brand new feeling, or tone if you will, of these new Star Wars movies. So it's not just that, but we also have, George, John, and Dave coming together as a team to really take these new Star Wars films in a better direction. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think that these new films really hold a lot of potential. We went over, what they really are aiming to do with the dark side family that we talked about. The prince, princess, and the queen of Exegol, the king of Exegol. These 4 family members on the world of Exegol over in the unknown regions that they aim to be portrayed by, so far, Gal Gadot, Keanu Reeves, and others out there to join this new dark side family on Exegol. So they're trying their best to create a new Star Wars family that's going to be basically the opposite of the Skywalkers, right? Now granted, the Skywalkers did deal with the dark side. We've seen a prime example between Ben Solo and Anakin. But what they really want to do is that they want to actually make a reverse, if you will. They want to show us a different side of a Star Wars family where they are more oriented with the dark side and how they view the light side as the bad. And that's going to be basically the focus of this new trilogy. It's almost like a reverse of what you see with the characters like Anakin turning into Darth Vader and how turning to the dark side is bad. We're going to get this new alternate view of Star Wars, essentially, where we're going to be dealing with some of these dark side family members falling to the light and how that's going to be viewed as bad in a sense. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly how they're going to be dealing with this new dark side family, or the dark royal family, on the world of Exegol in this new Star Wars trilogy. And this is, of course, modeled after a lot of Star Wars legends that's going to be inserted into these 3 new Star Wars movies. So you can see that George Lucas is absolutely trying to be very innovative. He's trying to be very ambitious with the new films by working closely with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and other creators coming on board of this new Star Wars franchise, or this new universe, if you will. I think at the very minimum, a lot of fans are going to tune in to watch these new movies in the near future. They're going to be very much excited to see, what Disney has to offer without Kathleen Kennedy interrupting or, intervening and taking control. Thankfully, that's no longer going to be a thing. So overall, I think that we really are in for a treat when it comes to these new Star Wars films. Because, let's face it, a lot of fans just want to see a more positive version of Star Wars. A version of Star Wars in which Kathleen Kennedy has no control. And this will be the first set of films that Kathleen Kennedy has no control over. So it's going to be a very different take on everything Star Wars related. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.